Welcome, my name is Frank Adler and I'm one of the founders and managing partner of Operational Excellence Consulting. We are a small, well-respected consulting company here in Southern California, and we are partnering with other consulting companies to ensure that we are providing the best services and solutions to our clients.
Achieving operational excellence requires the successful implementation of an integrated business execution system that effectively and seamlessly integrates the following four building blocks: strategy deployment, performance management, process excellence, and high-performance work teams. The primary objective of effective performance management is to translate strategic initiatives into measurable objectives and goals, as well as ensure that different levels and parts of the organization are aligned with each other. I think many of us had an opportunity to work with organizations that were not aligned with respect to their objectives and goals, and I think we can all agree that that can be a very frustrating experience. People and their managers are working so hard to be sure things are done right that they hardly have time to decide if they are doing the right things. Studies have shown that organizations which are leading in their industry distinguish themselves by the following characteristics. They are able to link their strategic objectives and measures to their operational objectives and measures. They're having agreed upon measures that managers understand. They're balancing the financial and non-financial measures. And they're updating and monitoring their strategic key performance indicators regularly, and clearly communicate measures, progress, and challenges to all employees in the organization. To do that effectively, these organizations often deploy balanced scorecards. Kaplan and Norton state in their article, "Having Trouble with Your Strategy, Then Map It," that balanced scorecards tell you the knowledge, skills, and systems that your employees will need to innovate and build the right strategic capabilities and efficiencies that then deliver specific value to the market, which will eventually lead to higher shareholder value. This definition refers to the four dimensions or perspectives: learning and growth, internal processes, customers, and financials of a balanced scorecard, which we will discuss on the next slides. One of the fundamental issues Kaplan and Norton tried to resolve when developing the Balanced Scorecard framework about 25 years ago was, and still is, that organizations almost always focus on financial metrics such as revenue, gross margin, income, or EBITDA, but do not focus to the same extent on metrics or performance indicators that are actually enabling the organization to accomplish these financial objectives. Financial metrics are by definition what we call lagging performance indicators, meaning that they are showing the results of doing the right things right. However, what are the right things that need to be done right to accomplish by the end of the quarter or year the financial objectives? That could, for example, be the launch of existing products in a new market, or increasing the market share for existing products in existing markets. These would result in metrics that fall under the customer perspective. Financial objectives could also be accomplished through efficiency improvements of internal processes, or the development of new processes to serve new customers and new markets. These would result in metrics that fall under the internal business process perspective. And finally, the accomplishment of financial objectives sometimes also requires new skills, new people, or changes in the organizational structure. These would result in metrics that fall under the learning and growth perspective. The implementation and ongoing refinement of the Balanced Scorecard approach will help a management team to focus on the execution of their business strategy. It will help to align every part of an organization towards common goals and objectives, and enable an organization to understand the relationship between measures and performance. It will improve the communication of organizational priorities and reduce the number of metrics to the few vital key performance indicators. And finally, strengthen the project selection process to focus on key capabilities and enablers. We normally suggest our clients the deployment of a 3-phase process to develop and deploy balanced scorecards. The 3 phases being strategic foundation, 3 critical components, and deployment process. The strategic foundation is the preparation phase to ensure that the strategy development part was done appropriately to support the development of an effective balanced scorecard. Here we will use strategy maps, as we will see later. The 3 critical components is really the development of the balanced scorecard, plus the initial round of program and project identification and selection using the balanced scorecard as a selection filter. And finally, the deployment process, and this is the execution process to make sure the balanced scorecard and supporting programs and projects are executed efficiently and effectively. Let's discuss these 3 phases a little bit more in detail. As I just mentioned, the strategic foundation phase is really a preparation phase and all about the review of the outcome of the strategy development work to ensure that it has been done properly to support the development of a balanced scorecard. That includes communicating and aligning the organization around a clear and concise vision and strategic focus areas. The review of the strategic focus areas and objectives to focus the organization on those things that must be done to execute the strategy and achieve the vision. And finally, reviewing or building the strategic grids or strategic maps for each strategic focus area of an organization. In most cases, organizations do not use strategy maps. So in that case, we take an organization strategy and translate it into strategy maps. Very often we can then recognize that there are significant gaps in that organization strategy. Strategy maps make it quite easy to visualize these gaps and to discuss them with the organization. Phase 2 is about developing the balanced scorecard based on the strategy maps from Phase 1 and the initial round of project identification and selection. This phase includes making sure that each strategic initiative has at least one measurement or metrics that provides the feedback on whether or not an organization meets its objective for that strategic initiative. Once an indicator has been defined, we need to establish a corresponding baseline, target, and stretch goal for that indicator. And finally, nothing will happen unless the organization undertakes formal programs and projects. Identifying, defining, and launching programs and projects effectively links the process back to where it started, driving the strategy formulated and mapped in Phase 1. Phase 3 is the deployment process of the Balanced Scorecard framework. This defines the execution to make sure the Balanced Scorecard and supporting programs and projects are managed effectively and efficiently. This phase includes periodic scorecard reviews to validate and verify that the selected indicators are indeed relevant and targets are challenging but achievable. Also, aligned individual performance plans need to be developed to make sure everyone has skin in the game and moves in the same direction. That could be supported by a biannual or annual performance review process to conduct individual performance reviews and coaching sessions. Once the initial scorecard has been verified and validated, an organization needs to push the entire process into other parts of the organization until it becomes a single, coherent performance management system. And finally, the organization needs to prioritize and execute improvement opportunities based on their impact on the Balanced Scorecard. Balanced Scorecard should be renewed every 6 or 12 months to ensure that the key performance indicators and their targets are still aligned with the strategic and business objectives. If you are interested in a workshop about balanced scorecards and strategy maps, please call us and we will send you a proposal. I hope you enjoyed this short introduction. I wish you the best and hopefully we will hear from you in the near future.
As you may have seen, our website is not the typical consulting website, as one of our objectives is to provide an online resource center for everyone interested in operational excellence. So have a look and also check out our e-store where you can find some of our training material. If you think that we can help you to initiate your own operational excellence initiative, give us a call or send us an email, and we are looking forward to discussing with you the next steps.